They tell you wars are about land, religion, or revenge. But that's the surface story. Beneath every battlefield lies a market. A market that decides which country rises and which one burns. And here's the part nobody is ever allowed to say out loud. Wars don't start when soldiers fire their first bullet. Wars start the moment the money moves. Because in the world of dark finance, conflict isn't chaos, it's opportunity. $1 billion opportunity. Before the first explosion, someone somewhere already knows the profit margin. And if you understand who makes money, you'll finally understand why wars never stop. Every war begins with a whisper inside a hidden financial room. Traders analyze tension like weather scientists analyze storms. They watch for signs: rising oil fears, shipping disruptions, political rumors. They don't fear crises. They price it. And they don't wait for danger. They invest in it. Because the real battlefield is not in the desert or the mountains. It's on a glowing screen in a cold room filled with numbers. A place called the Shadow Exchange. It has no official building, no public website, no national flag. But it influences the fate of nations more than any government ever could. When a country prepares for war, the Shadow Exchange hears it first. Not through military reports, but through sudden movements of billions of dollars. Someone starts buying metals. Someone quietly dumps currencies. Someone secures future shipments of oil. Months before anyone publicly announces trouble. The markets know. They always know. And there's a reason for that. Information leaks upward, from governments to elites. And elites don't just observe history. They shape it. They bend it. They fund it. And sometimes, they even ignite it. When money moves like this, it creates a chain reaction. Insurance companies raise rates. Shipping companies reroute their cargo. Gold starts flowing into hidden vaults. This is the calm before the financial storm. The world's richest entities prepare long before the world's citizens panic. And the most chilling part: some companies earn the most during the bloodshed. Arms manufacturers see their charts go vertical. Oil giants watch prices skyrocket. Hedge funds short collapsing economies. Meanwhile, the average citizen is told to stay strong and fight for freedom. Freedom isn't what's being fought for. Liquidity is. Governments need money to fight wars. And when governments need money fast, they make desperate deals. Deals that create secret winners. Winners who never step foot on the battlefield. But they walk away with fortunes built on fear. Even after peace treaties are signed, the profits don't end. Reconstruction becomes another gold mine. Loans, contracts, land rights, resource control. The war economy doesn't stop when the war stops. It simply transforms. The same markets that fueled destruction now fuel rebuilding. And the same players stay in control. This cycle is older than modern history. Empires rose and fell on the same formula. Money first, blood later. But now, the system is more efficient, faster, more hidden. Because digital markets react instantly. Satellites scan movements. Algorithms detect tension before humans feel it. You don't see these signals, but the Shadow Exchange sees everything. Every border shift, every troop movement, every secret deal. They price war like a product on a shelf, and they don't care who pays the cost. This is why wars erupt suddenly. Not because of ideology, but because someone benefits, someone profits from chaos. Someone wanted a market condition to change, and millions of lives become numbers on a spreadsheet. Meanwhile, the public argues over politics. They don't realize the truth. Politics is the theater. Finance is the script. And war is the revenue model. If you follow the money, you uncover the pattern. Every major conflict is connected by invisible financial threads. Oil routes, mineral rights, debt obligations. These are the real triggers. And once you understand this system, you can predict conflicts before they happen. Because wars don't break out. They are scheduled. The world watches the smoke. The markets watch the spark. And the spark always happens in the same place. A secret room, a silent decision, a trillion-dollar calculation. Someone moves money, and the world moves with it. That's the truth they never teach you in school. Wars end, but the market behind them never stops. But here's the part they never documented. The part even their own archives refused to admit, because somewhere beneath the numbers and signatures, a shadow ledger existed. A ledger that didn't track money. It tracked control. Every empire that rose had an entry. Every empire that fell had a warning. And every citizen, unknowingly, was listed as collateral. You were never a participant in the system, you were an asset. Not a shareholder. Not a voter. Just a resource. And the masters of that ledger made sure you never realized it. They hid it behind charity, behind patriotism, behind economic progress. Every crash was engineered. Every boom was bait. Every bailout was a reset button they controlled, and every reset made them stronger. The public thinks markets follow logic, but markets follow narratives, and narratives are written by the powerful. They decide when fear rises. They decide when greed explodes. They decide when the world must burn, and they always profit from the ashes. There is no accident in finance, only strategy. The people call it crisis. The elites call it opportunity optimization. Same event. Different dictionary. Think about every historical crisis you've ever heard of. Now imagine someone benefiting at every stage. Before the fall, during the panic, after the recovery. One event, 3 profit cycles. A perfect machine, a machine built centuries ago, and still running today. Even the wars weren't random. They were calculated economic resets, disguised as patriotism. A global chess move masked as national pride. When empires fought, banks feasted. When soldiers died, markets surged. It wasn't collateral damage. It was the business model, and every citizen unknowingly paid the subscription fee. The price, their future. They sold the illusion of freedom, but the receipts tell another story. Every tax form, every loan, every interest rate, a signature is all they need. One moment of trust, one moment of hope, and suddenly your entire life is a contract you never read, a lifelong debt disguised as responsibility. But here comes the twist no one sees coming. The system is beginning to crack. Not because it's weak, but because it's hungry. Too hungry. Every empire collapses when its appetite becomes impossible to satisfy. And this empire, it feeds on fear, on Charles, on Charles, on uncertainty. So what happens when people stop panicking, when they stop believing? When they stop borrowing, the machine glitches, and the masters panic, because control only works when the public stays asleep. And right now, people are waking up, slowly, quietly, asking the wrong questions, looking behind the curtain. So they've activated a new strategy: silence through distraction. Overload the population with noise, make them chase trends instead of truth. Make them argue instead of analyze, make them scroll instead of think. Because a confused citizen is easier to control than an informed one. And confusion is cheap. They manufacture daily. Through media. Through influencers. Through carefully planted viral scandals. It's a digital smoke bomb, and everyone breathes it without noticing. Meanwhile, the real moves happen off-screen. Quietly. Slowly. Laws change, markets shift, wealth transfers silently, and people only realize years later. When it's too late, the truth is simple, but simplicity is dangerous. Because once you understand the system, you stop playing the game, and that is the one thing they fear most.